Hi folks, Rodney back again with Rodney's Northwest Riding Reviews. I'm headed back out to ride again today. I thought it'd be a great time to be an update. I currently have 2,845 miles on the truck and wanted to kind of give just an update on number one, performance, the ride, any issues that have come up. So last week I had an opportunity to go out to Three Trails OHV. If anybody's from Oregon, it's right next to Crescent Lake. So anyway, on the way out there, you go over Willamette Pass, and the elevation there is 5,120 feet. And to some people, that may not seem like a lot. It's pretty good elevation around here. So I want to kind of talk about a couple different things. So if you're not already familiar with it, they say for every 1,000 feet that you go up in elevation, you lose about 6% power loss. And so one of the things that I really appreciate about having the turbo is that you have that added pressure going in, so it doesn't feel like you're losing as much power as what you would on a naturally aspirated engine. The turbo boost is more activated on load pressure or the load of the engine. And so for instance, I'm going to show you here. So yes, when I step on the throttle, your boost does go up a little bit, but based on whether you're going on an incline or flat ground, it can really make a difference on the amount of boost that you're actually getting through the turbo. And so that is one thing that I noticed out there, or going over the pass, is that it was running a lot more boost than what you would normally see. And there again, is based on the load. So it almost acts as if it has a cruise control, even when your cruise is not activated, but it acts as if it is. And why I say that is that going up the mountain pass, the old generation or the previous generation, you would be searching for gears in the transmission all the time. And this, yes, it might shift down into 7th gear rather than 8th, but after that, it's not up and down all the time. It's not switching gears, but you will notice how that the turbo boost obviously will change. You really feel that additional torque come into play when you are going over the pass like that and when towing. Now, you see I have my motorcycle back there, and it is on a 3-rail motorcycle trailer, which granted is not a lot of weight. It's probably 1,000 pounds, and there's not a lot of rolling resistance there, but it is different. And you notice that if you were to go in an empty truck up the hill and then you had passengers in the back, you can definitely feel a difference, just in that amount of weight. I thought it was actually pretty good performance based on what my previous gen Tacomas were going over that same pass. The other thing that I noticed is that there is a lot less body roll in this truck than what it was in the previous gen. So this is Tacoma TRD Off-Road. It does have the upgrade package if you haven't watched any of my previous videos. But with the off-road suspension, you typically have more body roll than what you would with, like, for instance, the TRD Sports that I had in the past. So anyway, a lot less body roll. I do have a partner that I ride with that has the previous gen Tacoma. It's a 2023 model with the TRD Off-Road. He mentions that, obviously has a lot more body roll. But the other thing too is that the difference in power. And so when we start up the passes, he's like, I can't keep up with you. And I think partly he's joking a little bit, but then I also see as we start up the passes that he really starts distancing himself, going up. So I know that there is a difference in power. Let's see, other cons. So on the infotainment system, I will notice sometimes that when I jump in a truck, if my Apple CarPlay is already connected, sometimes it will automatically go right to the Apple CarPlay, but there's other times where I jump in and either the Apple CarPlay does not connect, or when it does connect, it may go to this screen when it was previously on the Apple CarPlay screen, that is. You can always just kind of switch it back, not a problem, but it's interesting that it flips to that screen, and I did have the same issue on my 2022 Tundra. I always kind of laughed and I said, well, it's Toyota's way of trying to get you to sign up for the connected services or remote connect. But anyway, it always goes back to that same screen. So that is still kind of an ongoing issue, and I think it's kind of an infotainment system issue. And this is the same head unit that you would have in the Tundra, even though it's a different size screen. Other than that, everything else has been very smooth. I've not had any issues come up. I love the truck. I will give you an update on the tires. I did put BF Goodrich KO3 tires on it, and I'm still picking up a lot of rocks. After I come out of riding today, I go down a gravel road that's about 3 miles long, and I'll show you how many rocks are in the tires when I'm finished. And that is a frustration, because what it's doing is not only am I flinging rocks for about a mile down the road, but then I'm also tearing up the side of the truck where it's flipping the rocks out. I do have the Toyota mud guards on there, but they don't cover far enough out that prevents it from creating rock chips on the side of the truck. The other thing too is that you have the fender flares, and I'll show this to you as well once I stop, but with the fender flares, the way the truck is designed, it picks up a lot more rock chips than what the previous gen would. I like the look, but I don't like the design based on that issue. Other than that, everything else is, like I said, been smooth sailing. Love the truck, great performance. Fuel economy, I'm still averaging. Now, keep in mind with the larger tires, you get on this, when I've done the calculation, it gets about 0.6 miles per gallon better than what is actually shown on the fuel economy. So that would be 18.3, and that's kind of what I've been averaging up and down. Now, I ran up, like I said, I ran up to Crescent Lake, and that elevation was 5,120 feet over the pass, and that was about 100 miles there and then 100 miles back, and averaged the same thing. This last week, running around town empty, just going to work and back, it got a little bit of freeway, it's got some city driving. Funny thing is, you actually get better fuel economy in town than what I'm getting out on the highway. But with that, I was averaging just over 19 miles per gallon. Part of that could be due to I wanted to run premium fuel in it to just see what of a difference it would make. I've done it one other time. What you notice with running premium fuel is you notice that you do get a little better throttle response, and that's pretty much all the way through the rev range. But then you also pick up slightly better fuel economy, and I would say maybe a half a gallon better, half a mile per gallon better fuel economy than running the regular unleaded, and that would be 87. So a little better a little better throttle response. You get a little better performance, but is it worth the extra, 40 to 50 cents a gallon that you're paying for the premium? I don't think so. I can't notice that big a difference. Interesting thing. So, like I mentioned, I ride dirt bikes, and so when I put higher octane in the dirt bike, I definitely notice a difference. So take that for what it's worth. Will you get a little better performance? Yes. Also, in the TRD Pro, and I haven't seen one yet, but I'm just making an assumption based off of the Land Cruisers that I've seen. So on the Land Cruiser, it has the same exact powertrain as what you would have in the Tacoma. And if it's a hybrid model, which the Land Cruiser only comes in a hybrid, that would be the same thing as like the Trail Hunter or the TRD Pro. I'm assuming that they're probably going to say, that you need to run premium fuel in it. And I've read many different articles, and they all say the same thing. You can run regular unleaded in the Land Cruiser because it's no different than this Tacoma here. But they do mention that, for best performance, they recommend the premium fuel. Some people are getting caught up on that, and they're like, well, so if I buy one, I have to run premium fuel. No, you do not have to run premium fuel, but it will perform better if you do. So hopefully that helps answer a couple questions that some of you may have had. But like I said, I'll give you another update as I'm coming back out after riding to show you how many rocks I'm picking up with the KO3s. The other thing that I will mention too, I mentioned it in a previous review on the KO3 tires, is that it seems like in the morning when I first take off, for about the first half a mile, it feels like they have flat spots on the bottom of the tires. I never noticed that with the two sets of KO2s that I had on number one on my Tacoma, but then also on my Tundra that I had. But for this one, it does it. So first half of the mile, and keep in mind, right now it's 60 degrees, but it's been in the 70s and 80s here. So it's not a matter of that the tires are just so cold and has been sitting for any length of time. It's just, that's just the way they're designed for some reason. After they get past that first half mile, I never noticed the flat spots anymore. It just seems to smooth out. You do have the same issue with the KO3s as that you do have with the KO2s. It's hard to get them balanced. And I know my KO2s in the past, I had to get them rebalanced like 3 different times before they ever got them just right. There is, I don't know, it's got to be something to do with the production, but it's hard to find, you know, that balance with their tire. There is a heavy spot in the tire, and typically they'll put a circle on the tire so you know where that's at. But like I said, it took them 3 different times, and you know, they had to put them on the road force balancing to try to get it right. So if you guys are having that issue, you may just need to take it somewhere where they can do a better balance on it and get it right for you. But the KO3s are having the same issue. So anyway, I'll give you another update soon. All right, we just finished up riding. I wanted to point out how many rocks are actually in the tires right now. So I'm going to take a few minutes and pick all those out before I take off. I know that sounds ridiculous to go down a gravel road and have to do that, but you can see here, and of course there's so much dust on the road now, but all these little rock chips from that. And like I said, I do have the mud guards that Toyota sends, but they're just not quite wide enough. And the other strange thing is that if you look, my tires fit within the fender wells there. Obviously the mud guards just don't go out wide enough, and so I'm going to try to find some other mud guards. So if you guys have any suggestions, please send them my way. It actually looks better this week than it did the last time I was out here, which was what, 2 weeks ago. The rocks seem, or the tires seem like they were almost full of rocks. So that's probably the only downfall that I really find about these tires, is that they pick up so many rocks. These are supposed to be ejectors here, but they don't seem to do much. So anyway, if you guys have any questions, any comments, feel free to send them my way. Take the time to like and subscribe if you like the content. I am out riding just about every week, so if you guys like riding content, got plenty of videos from that. But then I'll give, you know, updates as time goes on, you know, with my Tacoma here as well. So appreciate you guys watching. Have a great day.